Shalom. Before I start, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, Wa Akwath, learning and teaching in truth and sincerity. Another video through the Spirit, your brother Malak from GMS Detroit. Hey, we're going to be dealing with the famous phrase, slaves, obey your masters. Okay, and this is a term that has, in the modern era, a lot of misguided Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, specifically Southern Kingdom, right? A lot of Negroes are adverse to the Bible because of this verse, right? They have an issue with what they deem Christianity and the Bible and God because, as the story goes in their head, the line that they have in their head, that's one of the scriptures that would get quoted, that the white, demonic, so-called Christian, child molesting, rapist, killing, conquistador, demonic sailors, pirate scumbags. This is one of the lines that they would quote to the slaves to keep them in line. And now this is true. They would quote this, but they would misinterpret it. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at the proper context of that verse. All right, but now that doesn't take away from the fact that you so-called white people, especially the ones of you who live in America and whose ancestors came here, you are a bunch of demons. And although we're going to properly take a look at that context, that doesn't excuse you from the fact that you are going to pay for what you did to us, because we are the children of Israel, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And if you don't like to acknowledge this kind of history, then you are a dishonest scumbag like vocab. Okay? So let's let this play. I got another clip too. Then we'll get some. I'm going to get an example out of the book of Philemon. All right, to show you, what's going on.
If you want to import the transatlantic slave trade on verse 5, there are several issues that you have to come to grips with. Number one is the timeline issue. Paul wrote this at 660 AD in a Roman prison. The transatlantic slave trade happened in 1619. How can Paul be talking about something that has not happened for 1,000+ years at the time that he is writing it? You have a timeline issue if you want to impose something that happened in 1619 on something that was written in AD 60.
Now, he's 50% correct. Now, he's correct on the fact that it is a timeline issue. We're going to go get the scripture in a second, but like he's saying, y'all, when that was written, Paul was living in an entire different way of life than what we have today. Back then, it was a very normal thing for servitude in Hebrew culture and in Roman culture. You read about it in the book, in the laws of Leviticus and in Exodus and Deuteronomy. We are allowed to have servants of your own people, all right, people who serve under you literally, and then you can have slaves of other nationalities. Straight up, you own them from the day they born to the day they go. You understand what I'm saying? To the day they expire. And this is not something, all nationalities of people have had this at one point or another at a time. The Heavenly Father allows it. It's just a matter of the fact that you have to understand how it's, the systems behind it. But now the other 50% of the statement, he's saying, how can some people in the past prophets can write about things in the future? So don't get that twisted either, because he's saying, how can somebody from 60 AD write about something in 1600? It's called prophecy. So I do want to clear that up. Don't let him, don't get thrown off by that, because men of the ancient world can prophesy about the future. So don't get it twisted. But this verse ain't a future prophecy.
Number two, you have an application issue. Interesting for my unredeemed woke crowd. It's interesting that you think that the Bible is oppressive to people of colors, when in fact you're aligning yourself with the oppressor. Prove it, Pastor Gay. If you assume that chapter 6, verse 5 is in favor of the dehumanization and degradation of black and brown people, then what you're saying is you agree with the white supremacist application of the verse. That's what you're saying. You're saying that this verse was indeed, and you agree with them, and that the Bible's wrong and the white supremacist was right, and so you agree with them, therefore black and brown people shouldn't be Christians. So you have a timeline issue with your interpretation, but you also have an application issue with your interpretation, because you're now agreeing with the oppressor's wrong interpretation interpretation of the verse.
So now we're gonna go to it. In that second part, what he's saying, and that's the part that Jake is caught up on. So if you do believe it, then that's why I don't deal with the Bible. The Bible, the white man book. No, it's not. It's for us. They just happen to be holding it while they were slapping you silly with a whip in their hand. All right, so let's go to the verse actually, and let's get it in its proper application. Ephesians 6. Let's start at verse 1. Right, this is sundry commandment. Sundry meaning many or various. This is Paul giving general statements. Right, Ephesians 6:1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise. Right, so now we have two things here. Obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and thy mother. I'm going to keep reading. Salakia, verse 3. That it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest live long on the earth. Right, so you obey your literal parents. Like when you were a child, you're obedient unto them. All right, and when you read in the law, it tells you, was that he that curses father or mother, let him die the death. All right, so people who were being a rebellious child was a big no-no in the ancient world. Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter, tells you that if you had a son who didn't want to listen, you'll take him back out. You'll take him in the back and you stone the son of a bitch, because all he's going to do is grow up to be a demon. As a matter of fact, let's just prove that real quick. The way that obedience and respect is looked at in the ancient world was a lot more magnified to how it is now. Young people just say shit to old people, no respect. A woman will walk by you as a grown man and shoulder shuck you, bogard you, bump you, and just keep it pushing like you couldn't smash her. Deuteronomy 21:20, it says, and they shall say unto the elders of I'm gonna start with 18. Deuteronomy 21:18. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gates of his place. Right, so you got a little shiftless nigga in the house. Nigga 23, ain't worked, ain't touched nothing in the field, getting drunk, fucking around, chasing hoes around, ain't doing nothing. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. All right. Once again, he ain't doing nothing. And all those, this is directly aimed at a son. You can imply it also to a daughter. She's a little harlot, getting pregnant every month, rolling around, sucking and blucking. Right? You can apply this to her as well. So he's a glutton and a drunkard, and all the men of the city shall stone him with stones that he die. So shalt thou put away evil from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Right. So this is old world customs. If you was a shiftless son of a gun, you had to go because you were most likely just going to grow up to cause problems in society. So coming back to this Ephesians now, that's some of the basis for this here. Honor thy father and thy mother. You're doing right by them. Bringing honor to the family name, not shame. All right. Verse 4. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Right. So twofold. On the other side of the coin, just because the parents rule over the children, they can't just be completely unnecessarily, we'll use the term mean, or just overbearing. Your child blink, you slap them. Nigga, don't blink in my house. They brush their teeth too loud, you come in and kick them. Nigga, you better be quiet when you brush your teeth. You understand what I'm saying? There's balance to the chastisement. If you over chasten your child, if you just going crazy on them, whooping their tail every 10 seconds, they will begin to hate you. All right. The same way, a dog. You can get on your dog. Your dog knows when he's wrong too. He'll put his head down, he'll put his tail down. But if you just waking up every day and slapping the holy heebie-jeebies out of your dog, he's going to start to look at you no longer as a family member, he's going to look at you as a threat to his life, and he will attack you. All right, so it's showing that relationship. You have to have the balance with the chastening. Verse 5, the main point. Servants, be obedient to them that have, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh, with fear and trembling and singleness of your heart, as unto Mashiach. Right, so this is the verse that F's people up. So now, what does this mean to obey your masters in the flesh? All right, quite literally, in ancient times, all right, in our culture, you as a Hebrew could have a master over you who would be a fellow Hebrew, and you couldn't just be, you're under terms, you're under agreement, so you have to deal accordingly. All right, now by Paul's time, being in the, Greco-Roman Empire, there are going to be instances where you as a Hebrew or Israelite foreigner, you may have had a master who was over you that didn't believe in the Lord. Could have been a heathen or simply an Israelite who just simply didn't believe. And just because they didn't believe, you couldn't just act up and cut up and not obey, get up and do whatever you want. That's what this verse is focusing on. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to this verse 9. So let's do this right here. Exodus 21:1. It says, now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. Right. So I'm just pulling this up to show you that as Hebrews, we could have servants of our own people. Okay. And this was a normal thing. All right. And it tells you, matter of fact, we're going to keep going too. We're going to be dealing with this for a minute, then we'll come back. Let me get, Leviticus, the 25th chapter, deals with it heavily. Yep, perfect. Okay. So let's see examples, because someone might say, oh, well, why would a person want to be a servant under somebody? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to? Well, let's see examples. Leviticus 25 and 25. It says, if thy brother be waxen poor and hath sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. And if the man have none to redeem it, and let me see. So like I was at the wrong verse, y'all. I needed to start here, verse 39. So Leviticus 25 and 39. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant. So if you have one of your own people, he fell into, let's say right now, man, you're at work, you get fired, can't pay stuff, you lose everything, lose the house, lose the car. Rather than going homeless and being out in the street, an option that you could have had in the ancient world, which if we had today, you wouldn't have all these homeless out here. You could go to, let's say you got a rich uncle. You could go to your uncle, say, man, can I work for you for the next 7 years? Let's say your uncle owns a tire shop, right? You make agreement, you're gonna work up under his tire shop for the next 7 years. And as we were just reading up, actually, 6 years, right? Then that 7th year, you can go free. These were things that you could do to get yourself up back to your feet. So you get free that 7th year, you done acquired a whole skill set that you can go take. Now you can build up your own tire shop and get your own company set up. And then with one of your people fall into the same times, you can do this, you can help them just the same. All right, and this is one of the systems that Esau has stripped from us to make sure we stay low and poor. But let me keep reading Salakia. So highlighting the word bondservant. A bondservant is different from, just a hired servant or regular servant. All right, don't worry. We're going to come back and we're going to tie it in with Philemon. Don't worry. Verse 40 says, but as an hired servant and as a sojourner, he shall be with thee and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. The 49th going into the 50th year, right? And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his father shall he return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not rule over Thou shalt not rule over him with vigor, but shall fear thy God, thy power. Right. So this is how we know it's dealing with a fellow Israelite. Just because you rule over them, you can't just be dogging them and, whopping them all off in their head, going crazy on them. You still deal with them with some dignity. It's just the fact that you're their master. And at the same time, they have to obey and respect that relationship. You say, hey, you got to get up at 4 this morning. I need you to go take these barrels of corn, get them over to the brother Azariah farm. Get them all there, these barrels by 6. Come on, get it done. You have to, both sides, that's the relationship. That is what it is. All right, now what's the difference between us and the heathen? Verse 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begot in your land, and they shall be your possession. Boom. So we're able to have bondmen and bondwomen of the heathen, the non-Israelites that are around us, especially those who came out with us in Egypt, and the ones we're going to eventually go on to conquer. So that's the difference in relationship. You can't dog your fellow people. The Christian church ain't gonna explain all this to you. And them motherfuckers, them white slave masters, sure as fuck wasn't about to explain all this to you. But this, so servitude was a very normal thing in the ancient world. All right, now let me get this next clip. This is hilarious. So okay, y'all, I'm gonna let this play now.
Gets up at 13th and Paxton Streets. Kendra Nichols is live in Harrisburg with the details. Kendra.
Well, Flora, we've been here all day, and people have been stopping by to get a closer look, even taking pictures and telling us how much this image angers them. As you can see on the billboard, it shows an African-American man with chains around his neck and the words, "Slave, obey your masters." Again, it's at 13th and Paxton Streets in Harrisburg. American atheists and Pennsylvania non-believers are the groups behind this billboard. They say it is protesting the state house and their resolution declaring 2012 the year of the Bible. But again, people we talked to today were not happy.
I want it down. There is no place for this. The devil is a liar. Take it down. Put it in your neighborhood. Put it in the House of Representatives neighborhood. We want it down.
I think it should be torn down. Absolutely be torn down.
It's just not offensive to a black person. That's offensive to any person. When you make a year of the Bible, you make a year of all the Bible. The good parts and the bad parts. And the fact is that the Bible, if you read it, is unbelievable. And you're seeing proof. Slaves, obey your masters.
American atheists told us today when the House gets rid of the resolution making this the year of the Bible, they will get rid of this billboard.
So right there, y'all, you see how Esau's coming with it because he's a scumbag. He's trying to make it look like now they're atheists and they don't even believe in the Bible. So ain't that something? But that goes to show you they understand that the context of it appears to be, so-called white supremacy based. You niggas shut up and do as you're told. All right, so nobody's ignorant to this. All right, you see that, E set that up to hurt nigga feelings in general, and it worked successfully. And them niggas, they don't understand what we know. They sure as hell don't. So they see it and they think, slavery. But we do know that verse was used to oppress us. All right, and ultimately, you fucking faggot-ass Edomites are always behind some shit.
Now, we happened to be here this morning when Mayor Thompson came by and saw this billboard for the first time. Hear what she has to say about it coming up tonight at 6. Back to you. All right.
So, right. So Esau's a mother effer. So what we're going to do, y'all, we're going to look at an example of this, an application by way of the book of Philemon. All right. It's a very short book, but it has a good example. It doesn't necessarily have any end time prophecies in it. Nothing about nobody getting blown up in fire, but there's a lesson. Every verse in this scripture, and these scriptures are important and have a purpose. Okay, right here. So we're dealing with the book of Philemon. So it's 1 and 1. It says, Paul, a prisoner of Yahushua Mashiach, and Timothy our brother, unto Philemon our dearly beloved and fellow laborer. Right, so he's writing to Philemon from prison. That's who this letter is directed towards. This is coming from Paul. It says what? And I'm reading the yellow parts where it's highlighted mostly, so we don't, we're not reading the whole chapter. Just the key points. Verse 8. Wherefore, though I might be much bold in Mashiach to enjoin thee that which is convenient, yet for love's sake I rather beseech thee, being such an one as Paul the aged, and now also a prisoner of Yahushua Mashiach, I beseech thee for my son Onesimus, whom I have begotten in my bonds. Right, so he's saying now, hey, look, the basis for me sending you this letter is concerning Onesimus, whom he says what I've begotten in my bonds, meaning Onesimus woke up and acknowledged the truth at the preaching of Paul while Paul was in prison. All right, this is before he was beheaded, because the Romans, they wasn't going to crucify him since he was a Roman citizen. So instead they chose to behead him. All right, and while he was, in holding, in bondage, preaching, right, he some way, somehow, it doesn't go into detail, but he came across a man named Onesimus. All right, verse 11. It says, which in time past was unprofitable, which in time past was to thee unprofitable, but now profitable to thee and me, whom I have sent again. Thou therefore receive him, that is mine own bowels. Right. So this man Onesimus was a servant to Philemon, and after waking up and coming to the truth of Yahushua, Paul is saying, look, hey, I'm sending him back to you now. Treat him how you would treat me. Treat him as if he's my son. All right, we're gonna jump down. He's no longer just a servant unto you now. You have to treat him with that love that you have for Yahushua, for the brethren. Right? What's the proof of that? Verse 15. For perhaps he therefore departed for a season, that thou shouldest receive him forever. Not now as a servant, but above a servant, a brother beloved, specially to me, but how much more unto thee, both in the flesh and in the Lord. If thou count me therefore a partner, receive him as myself. Right. So not only does he have to receive him back, but he no longer is as a servant. He's like a brother now. And this is a part of the reason, y'all, why, you read certain other scriptures, the Romans got tired of us, because we were completely upholstering and flipping Roman society upside down. You can't just free a slave, free a servant. That's completely throwing off the social order of Rome. So now imagine this, multiplied by, I don't know how many people was in ancient Rome. Let's just say several millions of people, the millions, right? Completely got people living in a whole completely different lifestyle, changing the food they ate, no longer worshiping the idols, releasing servants, showing brotherly love. This is why Paul found himself in prison. They say what? We was doing what? Turning what? Let me do that. Let me see. Yep, Acts 17:6. It says, and when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers of the city, crying, these that have turned the world upside down are come hither also. Right, so through our preaching, we was turning the world upside down. Wicked niggas didn't like it, and the Romans didn't like it. All right, and this is a complete, imagine right now if a guy who was the CEO of a company, went out and found that he was out drinking one night with a homeless guy, and he said, man, I'm about to make you my right hand man. Got him, freshed him up, right? Now he made a homeless man his vice president behind a mega billion dollar company. People would be like, man, what the hell? Right? That was the equivalent of this back then. You didn't do things like that. All right, but through Yahushua, this is what it means when you read scriptures, no more free and bond, right? Neither Jew nor Greek, things like this. Through our belief in Yahushua, we was all coming together, no matter what status, title, or reputation we held. Okay? That don't mean everybody can fucking make it. Verse 18 now, it says, if he hath wronged thee or oweth thee aught, put that on mine account. I, Paul, have written it with mine own hand. I will repay it, albeit I do not say to thee how thou owest unto me, even thine own self besides. Damn. Hey, so Paul, Paul said, look, whatever he did you wrong, and we don't, it doesn't go into detail whether maybe he, just got up and ran, he stole something, he beat up another servant, or he cursed his master out. All we know is that Onesimus, he has some sort of falling out with his master Philemon, and Paul was saying, look, receive him back. It's all good now. It's on me, all right, through Yahushua. And Paul said something at the end. He said, what? He said, albeit I do not say to thee how thou owest unto me, even thine own self beside. Damn, so Paul's saying, look, hey, he's your servant and owes you something. Hey, you owe me, shoot, I woke you up through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So you better do this. You better accept him. All right. So, hey, this is the understanding behind servants obey your masters. So now, Onesimus going back, whatever beef they had to drop it and square it off. All right. So now let's go back to that Ephesians, because I wanted to get one more thing. Okay, so this is the proper understanding behind servants obey your masters. All right, even if they don't believe, they're still in the world, right? You're at your job, right? If we go around cursing everybody out, you're gonna find yourself unemployed quite quickly. Okay. Then your spiritual masters. You're up right here. So Ephesians 6:9 says, and ye masters do the same things unto them, forbearing, threatening, knowing that your master also is in heaven, neither is there respect of persons with him. Right, so those who have the rule over you, they have to deal rightly. They can't just be dogging you out, because ultimately we all answer to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, so now twofolding it. So, this is dealing with your physical masters and your spiritual masters. Who's your physical masters in the world, y'all? When you're first growing up, your parents, whoever raised you, mother, father, grandparents, whatever, right? Then your spiritual parents, when you wake up to this truth, the men that taught you, which us here at Great Millstone, our elders and apostles, and more directly, the men of your direct camp, who you serving under. And this is for the brothers now. The heads of the camp, those are your spiritual masters. You got to listen. Hey, brother, I need you to get this done for me. Need you to get that done for me. Hey, brother, we coming over here. We finna do this video, right? Or boom, we, finna have this study session. Hey, brother, we doing this, we doing that, right? Because the brothers aren't going to be telling you to, we not sending nobody on, suicide missions. Simple, basic stuff. So the same way you would listen to your parents, the same way you listen to the men spiritually over you, with reverence and respect, and not on no nigga time. And a lot of Jake can't handle that. That's why a lot of Jake be bugging out, because they got their black mama spirit on them, or whoever the fuck raised them. All right, this will be the last verse right here. All right, because one of the phrases Paul was using, or you see it getting used, it was saying your fathers in the Lord. All right, your fathers in the flesh. Your fathers in the Lord is the brothers over you in this truth. Our elders and apostles, the elders, of New York and Connecticut, the elder brothers, which are the camp heads, right? Those are your elders, and those are your fathers in the Lord. And then you have your fathers in the flesh, quite literally. All right, so Hebrews 13:17, obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. Right. So the men that are set up over us spiritually, who teach us and nurse us up in this truth, they're only trying to do right by you. So us younger brothers, when you're getting told orders or told to do certain things, you can't be getting all bent the fuck out of shape, trying to nut up. 1 Peter 5:1. The elders which are among you I exhort, who also am an elder, and a witness of the sufferings of Mashiach, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of Yahweh which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. Right. And at the same time, hey, those who rule over, they shouldn't be doing it just to fuck you over and to get over on you monetarily. Right. And that's something, you look at some of these other camps, man, come on now. IUIC, they getting money hand over fist. Sakar and them, they was getting money hand over fist, but now it look like them boys are breaking up. Lord dismantling they bullshit. All right, but the leaders, they're not in this. Great Millstone, you ain't getting charged $1 over here. You know, we're looking out for your genuine benefit and for our own. We ain't trying to freak over you, or fuck over you, meaning to take advantage of you, whether physically or monetarily, to our benefit and your demise. All right, that's the responsibility of the heads, right? Verse 3, it says, neither as being lords over Yahweh's heritage, but as examples to the flock. Right. So we're doing this from a position of sincerity and honor, not greed and trying to get over. So that's it, y'all. That's what it means. Slaves, obey your masters. All right, it's not the Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, fake Christians, fake demons. They use that verse to justify their captivity of the Israelites, and really it was all biblical prophecy anyway, but that's the proper understanding. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim wa Akwa, learning and teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom.